Hey guys, this is AP Starcraft and I will be presenting a Zerg versus Terran game in the map of Shakuris. A little bit of a good game, good luck, have fun going on at the very beginning of the game. And let me tell you guys a little bit about this map. This was a map that was released by Blizzard not so long ago. It was actually in game already, but they released it over the ladder pool a couple patches ago. It replaced this map and what was the other map? Shakur's Plateau, I believe it was. Replaced Desert Oasis and Kula's Ravine. And I'm not 100% sure about how it replacing Desert Oasis. I found myself enjoying Desert Oasis after the fixes that were made to the map. But let me tell you guys a little bit about this map. You have the natural over here. There's no debris or anything over here, so you don't have to knock down any kind of rocks or anything in order to get access to this. But there is a rubble pile over here, which can be knocked down to by your opponent or by you if you're trying to get to your expansion over here. A couple expansions in the middle, tricky for a Zerg player to hold. So I would say that this map is not Zerg favored at all. It's in a Zerg versus Terran matchup. It's definitely goes towards the Terran in favorability, but I would say that in a Zerg versus Protoss matchup, it's a lot more favorable to the Protoss than it is towards the Terran in a Zerg versus Terran matchup, due to the fact that the Protoss are able to do proxies over here, put a pylon over here or a pylon over here, and they're able to warp in units right over here, or put it down on a proxy pylon over here and warp in units right here. And it can be a fairly difficult map to play on. I'm getting a fast expansion 14 hatch over here. Let me put it in my production over here. And I'm going around over here, checking out what my opponent is doing over here. I, uh, I don't think he was mining gas when I first got here, so I went around to just check to see if he was doing something tricky over here. And went over here to see if he had, like, I don't know, was building a command center or whatever, or another barracks, but I didn't see anything, so I went for the steel over here and got the gas over here. It's something that you guys should always try to do against your Protoss or Terran opponent, because it really limits the amount of choices that your opponent is able to throw at you, or slows down the choices that they do make. So I'm doing a gas steal over here and chasing this SCV with my drone right here. I'm about to pull him back though, because it looks like he's going all the way to his base. Just making sure he doesn't try to do some bunkers or something in my base, try to block in my my expansion over here. Making a couple of lings over here, 2 lings. So I only make 2 lings at the beginning so that I could against Terran, so that I could let drone harder. And still canceling the extract over here, but my opponent is able to knock it down eventually. So I'm taking my 2 ling scouts over here. I'm going to be taking a look at what my opponent is doing right now. Still droning over here. Having my queen lay the creep tomb over here. I had actually tested it, and with a 14 expansion, it's best to do with your first queen to lay down the creep tumor rather than to inject, because with your main and your expansion over here, you're not going to be able to spend all your larva immediately. So first thing to do in a 14 hatch situation is with your first queen, lay down a creep tumor, definitely. And my opponent, oh, something that I forgot to mention, you guys. Let me pull back just a little bit, just a tad. Let's go for a little bit. Alright, this is very important over here. I am actually casting this game because this game presents a strategy that I had some difficulty with in the past. It's not a strategy that I see too often. I've only seen it a few times in the past, and each time I've lost against it. So this is a game that I'm going to be casting in order to help you guys a little bit. So, and here's a little bit of a crucial scouting moment over here. Slow down over here. I bring my 2 lings over here, and do I see his ramp over here right now? Oopsie. Well, I'll bring him up the ramp right here, as you can see, and I noticed that my opponent does not have any attachment to these buildings. That's a big indicator that your opponent is going to be getting a fast starport. So I'm starting to get, I have that in mind. I'm going to be getting ready for that in order to deal with that. As you can see, I'm building the second queen over here. I have my first queen over here. Building a spine crawler just in case. And I'm just playing normal game right now. Well, not normal game. I'm joining hard. I'm not going to be building that many military units because I feel that my opponent is going to be doing some fast starport build. So I'm building I'm still building that second queen over here, and I'm going to be building additional queens as soon as possible. But first, I'm going to have to deal with this annoyance over here. Since I only have a couple of links, since I'm expecting the starport, this Hellion's running around my base doing a good amount of harassment. He's not getting that many kills. It's only one Hellion without the upgrade. He's going to be backing off right now, and I'm getting those additional queens right now. 2 more additional queens are coming up. Oh, and something that you guys hadn't, I think that, yeah, something that I didn't show. I'll come back to this moment in a sec. Let's go up here. Well, as you can see over here, I brought my queen up here. Not my queen. My overlord. I'm bringing him all the way up over here. I'm making him go around through the back. As you can see, I have a waypoint to come up here and then turn over here. The reason I do this is that if you just try to send your queen straight up over here to get to over here, your opponent's going to be able to see with his buildings over here, and he'll probably just send his marines over here to kill it. And this is really the only spot where you're going to be able to stick your overlord, so you'll be able to run him into the base in order to get a good scout without having your overlord get killed. This might be another spot, but it looks like he might be reachable over here. And let's go back. No, looks like... Okay. I have my overlord hanging out over here, as you can see. And at 25 supply moment, well, 31 now, I take my overlord and I decide to suicide him to check out, see if he does indeed have that starport. And I actually see 2 starports over here. So that's another crucial thing that you have to scout out for it when you feel that your opponent is going a starport rush. The reason that it's a crucial thing to scout out is because how you would deal with a 2 starport rush versus a 1 starport rush is, I mean, it's not completely different, but it's different. For example, my opponent's bringing back that Hellion to come back and harass me. The reason it's different is that against a 1 starport rush, you'll be good with about 4 queens. You won't have to make any more than 4 queens in order to be able to deal with it. But with a 2 starport rush, I would say you need at least 5 to 6 queens, probably 6 queens, in order to err on the safe side. Because otherwise, you'll be able, with a 2 starport rush, you'll be able to fight back the initial rush and hold off the initial rush. But when he comes back with the additional units that he's pumping out of those 2 starports, your queens will not be able to deal with all those units. So it's very crucial to have at least 5 to 6 queens. And it took me a couple of games having faced this strategy in order to figure that out, and in order to make sure that I scout out those this specific strategy versus the 1 starport cloak rush. As you can see, my opponent is getting cloaking field over here, so his banshee rush is slightly delayed by about a minute. If my opponent was not getting the cloaking field, the fastest I have seen opponent with no cloaking field is 3 banshees in my base at 8 minutes. So it looks like the cloaking field slows that down by approximately a minute, but also might be due to other factors, such as instead of having transfer his starport into a building that has an existing tech attachment, he just built both in the back on their own, so that might have slowed them down a little bit. As you can see over here, battle's going on over here with my queens and the banshees, and I'm doing a little bit of transferring transfusions over here in order to keep my queens alive, and I'll be able to hold this this initial rush off with my queens. Right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 queens. 5? Yeah, 5 with another on the way, 6. And I have my layer up right now too. And as you can see, my opponent's coming back with 3 banshees plus an additional Viking. And it looks like he supply locked himself, so his rush is actually slowed down by quite a bit, which is fortunate for me. And he has cloaking field up. Yeah, I think 6 queens is the least amount you need, because it looks like my opponent did mess up the strategy a little bit by supply locking himself. So right now I can't do anything, but fortunately I'm there, so I'm morphing some Overseer right now from the Overlord. Trying to keep my queens alive by transfusion. And I'm going to be shooting away his banshees now. Oh, it looks like he's going to try to attack my expansion right now, so I'm going to have to defend this a little bit. He's doing a little bit of eco-harassment, but this is something else that I was actually surprised by. After being able to push back this after I was able to push back the entire air rush that my opponent did, I was surprised by just how much resources I had. As you can see in income, I'm 45 harvesters versus 25. My economy is so far ahead of my opponent. I was actually lacking a lot in gas though, because I got gas a little bit later. I didn't get this geyser until later. I had these 2 geysers and this one over here. So when you're dealing with this strategy, it's a good idea to get all your geysers, all 4 of them, and start mining at them. Not too early, but when you start going lair, start mining from all of them. Because right now I'm trying to build Mutalisk, but with that amount of gas, I'm having a little bit of difficulty doing that. So I had so much minerals, I decided to, alright, what am I going to do to spend all this resources? I decided, alright, why don't I go ahead and double expand on each side. 1 expansion over here and 1 expansion over here, which turns out to be also another good idea and a good thing to do. So I'm going in for a little bit of harassment, picking out these couple of Marines over here on the side. I'm trying to see what's over here, but it looks like my opponent already has some missile turrets set up over here. He has a missile turret set up over here and another one being built over here. Ooh, I'm going to get a lot of Mutalisk killed right now because he has been sandwiched between the Marines and sandwiched between the turrets. So I'm running away. Two out of the 4 initial Mutalisks have made it out alive, but I have additional Mutalisks coming up over here and additional Mutalisks building right now. So let's see, economy is still a whole lot ahead of him, 47 to his 29. Trying to expand the creep over here. I'm laying down a bunch of creeps. I have so many queens. I might as well do something with them. Probably should do additional creep. I probably could just do creep everywhere at this point. And it looks like my opponent is still going with the air rush. So another thing that I was taken back by the 2 Starport rush is just how much of a all-in strategy it is. Because as you can see how much of a eco league I got after being able to defend from his air attack, and just how few land units he had. He has a bunch of banshees and a couple of Vikings, but as you probably know, banshees can attack air units, so they're gonna be pretty useless in dealing with Mutalisk. And it looks like my opponent is about to be moving out with his air units. I have a couple of scouts at the Exiled Naga towers. Building units, building drones, getting upgrades, and he's going to be seeing this expansion over here. It looks like he's going to be taking it out, and I'm rallying my Mutalisk in order to go